Well, good morning again. Here we are. Another day, another drive. Thanks again for joining me. Appreciate all y'all. So, something that's been kind of on my mind for quite some time actually I'm talking years, is Psalm 51. And in there, David is talking about his sin and confessing that sin. And I kind of want to run through Psalm 51 a little bit, but today specifically, there's always been one verse, it's 51:17, that has always stuck with me. And in it, David is basically saying, God, you don't want sacrifices. You want a broken and repentant or contrite, however you really want to, heart. And within that, there's this idea that sin is real and it affects us and it damages our relationship with God. And it's not in the sacrifices. And again, you go back to the Old Testament sacrificial system. That was how you made yourself right with God, was by offering the sacrifices. But David is acknowledging that that's just a temporary thing, or that's just an incomplete process of becoming right with God. But it's within the brokenness, it's within a repentant heart that we become right with God. And whether it's just like these little itsy bitsy sins, like people say, like a little white lie, or that sin that is just dominating your life, that you just can't seem to get rid of, that is hindering you, and you're just like, how do I get over this thing? Maybe even to the point where you just accept it as part of who you are. It's within those moments that I think brokenness of sin needs to remain. We can't become comfortable or complacent with sin in our lives. And there's been giant sections and years of my life where I've become very complacent with my own sin. And even now, there's moments where I'm like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But when we're broken over our sin, when we realize our failure to live up to a righteous standard that God has set, we can enter into the grace that Jesus offers us all the more. But we don't have a broken heart over our sin. We tend to say, well, this is just part of who I am now. And I do want to explore Psalm 51 over the next few days, and just as I'm thinking about it more and looking at different verses. But just ask yourself, what is this sin that is holding on to me right now? What is it that I need to have a broken heart over, to change over, to seek forgiveness over, to confess? And then go and do that. I encourage you to do that. Thanks for joining me on this drive today. Have a wonderful day.